Oh, hello.
Donkey shit.
It's not counting down.
It's recording as we speak.
Recording as we speak.
Yes.
Welcome, willkommen, bienvenue, how you do? This is Jesus Hitler here and Commandant der Totenhosen. So there we go. We're going to talk about some Nazi zombie films tonight. We're talking about Shockwave from 1977.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Zombie Lake from 1981, and we're gonna just see what the hell is going on. I don't know if how many people have seen these films and stuff, but we're gonna talk about them a little bit and just say, hey, this is crazy. So we got a little get up going on, getting into the zombie spirit, the Nazi zombie spirit. He's gonna throw me in the lake. He's gonna paddle me off.
Ooh.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna have some fun times. I got the Jesus Hitler look going. He's Commandant der Totenhosen. So there we go.
They call me General Gibbles.
General Gerbils. Because he likes squelching. There we go. You get the tube and shove the gerbil up your ass, and then it's all good times. So yeah, here we go. I just had this flock of seagulls vibe going on today. Just spin me right around me. No?
That's dead or alive.
Yeah, I know, but it's the flock of seagulls thing.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, oh my god, that reminded me of that song, and I was like, oh my god, we should redo that song.
We should. Not.
Just the video. Use the real music. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. Let's get on to the topic. Let's start off with Shockwave.
You want to do Shockwave
Let's
first?
do Shockwave first. Shockwave first would be a good thing.
That is a genuine
Shockwave.
classic.
And then
Show them the VHS tape.
Show them the VHS tape. Shockwave. 1977 with the great John Carradine and Peter Cushing in it. So also with Brooke Adams, and there you go. And I don't know who else is in it off the top of my head.
A lot of people.
Did you take any notes?
I didn't take a fucking note at all.
Oh my god.
But I know some fun facts about all the films were present.
Good. Fun fact me.
So, well, you want to jump into the synopsis of this movie?
Synop me.
Well, this is Shockwave starts with I guess it's a little independent cruise ship, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They're like it's a little boat. They take these people on these little cruise ships, and while they're out and about, the sun makes a weird color. I guess they're even a triangle, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And so the sky turns all weird colors, and they hear weird sounds like an old Freightliner. Yeah, it sounds like an old boat.
Mm-hmm.
And so things are going weird, and I guess the skipper isn't really experienced in navigation.
North by Northwest.
Yeah. And out of nowhere in the middle of the night, they hit a old boat.
A ghost freighter.
A ghost freighter. And it looks creepy as hell. It is creepy when they hit it, and it slowly their boat slowly starts sinking, and they rush off to get in their emergency paddle boat to find the nearest island.
Mm-hmm. Their dinghy. Everybody climb aboard my dinghy. Yeah.
And so they find this little island out in the middle of nowhere, and they're looking for intelligent life.
Mm-hmm. It is inhabited by one man.
Yep. And that's
one man alone.
Peter Cushing himself.
Peter Cushing himself, who was apparently the Nazi commandant in charge of the Toten Corps, the Death Corps. And basically he caused the boat, Protalis, to actually sink with all the members. Actually, the film actually starts off with basically its own synopsis, its own backstory. It says about during World War II they had this genetically mutated group of people that they used as super soldiers, and also Peter Cushing elaborates it more so that they had like homicidal maniacs and psychopaths and sadists, and they trained them and tortured them so they could survive any condition. They could breathe underwater. They could just do any crazy stuff. They never caught any of the Corps because he was told to take them offshore into a special area and wait for further orders, but the war was lost.
Yeah.
So he sunk the ship and escaped to that island and left the Toten Corps down in the ship. Some kind of weird, mystical, magical shit happens, as you can tell, and brings the ship up after its hibernation underwater for probably 20, 30 years, and then attacks these group of people on this island that are accidentally captured there. Do you think something about Yes, it is my first day on Periscope. Absolutely. Yes. But do you feel that it is the ship being there caused the other ship to rise up?
I think it was timing.
Is it just bad timing?
I think it was bad timing. I think it was just the way that planetary alignment with the other stars and planets were kind of just, it's the Bermuda Triangle. So it's like,
yeah,
it's everyone's game. You're there.
What do you think about Peter Cushing's character?
Oh man, I think he's so awesome and arrogant, and I love how he speaks German and stuff. And he's just
come in here.
Yeah, and I think it's just awesome. I think it's probably one of my favorite roles ever.
Even though this is probably a great film, as far as I'm concerned anyway, too. Do you feel that this is a film where he was like, John Carradine and Peter Cushing both were taking films at the end of their career that weren't maybe the greatest films in the world or pay the greatest, but they needed to pay the bills?
Well, this is my thing to this. Seeing as I'm going to talk about years and dates here now. I know this has a $200,000 budget. I can easily tell you a good chunk of that went to getting Peter hired onto this movie.
Yeah.
He was the highest paid actor in this film.
Right.
And I heard he had a lot of demands, and he would only do certain things.
And I think that's one of the reasons why he shows up halfway in the film, and before the 3/4 film mark, he's already dead.
Yeah, because I know for a fact, like, those guys were sleeping in that abandoned hotel, but not him. He was bussed back and forth on set, and he stayed in like a 4-star hotel in Miami. So they had to pay for that.
That being said, by what I can tell from everybody in the world, Peter Cushing was a sweetheart.
Yeah. No, I mean, he was a nice guy, and I think for what he did that movie probably for really cheap for his name.
Yeah.
And I don't think this was the end of his career because he went on to Star Wars a year later. And that was a huge budgeted movie.
Right.
And I'm sure he made a huge profit off that. So,
now John Carradine, on the other hand, he has copious films that he has done for cheap just to keep the money rolling in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Monster in the Closet, we just did that one.
Yeah.
He was in that one as well. My favorite John Carradine was always, have to probably always be The Howling, just because I like them.
Oh, The Howling's good. I always liked Death
Howling's
Race.
one of my favorite films. So
Death Race was always good. I always liked that.
So what do you think about the other cast?
They're good. I like. I'm kind of biased on the movie because I love it. I think it's probably my favorite zombie movie. So I don't really have anything negative to say about the movie. The acting at times.
What about the zombies?
Oh my god, dude! The zombies, hands down, is amazing. I love the simplicity of the zombies. They all have white hair, all wear the goggles, all are dressed the same, and it's just my favorite scene is when they're coming out of the water. That one scene where it's like they keep popping up.
Yeah,
like,
through the tidal pools.
Yeah, dude, oh my god, so awesome! Like, it just is such an eeriness actually about that part because it's just and they don't come up. When they submerge into the water, it's no ripples or anything. It's just smooth. When they come out, it's all like smooth. It's
even when he sees them in the distance, he's trying to say, "Don't go over to those guys. Come over to me." And they just right down the water.
They just kind of.
And it kind of goes right back to that Cushing role. Like Cushing was just a dick. In a weird way, like he was still like, I'm warning you, this is the way to get off. If you don't want it, I will kill you myself. And I kind of like his like very, not Prussian, I guess. It's just like this very like clinical way of like for instance, the way he plays it exactly how I feel there's a H.P. Lovecraft story called The Temple, I believe it's called, and it's about a submarine full of German soldiers. And this is back, where it's still. Germany was still technically becoming undivided from like the Prussians and all this stuff like that. And this one, the commandant there, or the commander of the submarine, is very like, and this Prussian dog over there is weak, and that's why my crew's weak, and we'll have to kill him, and we'll have to kill him next because every time they show weakness, they go, oh, well, he has to be removed. Yeah. Like he has this like rational thinking, but yes, still cold and clinical thinking. And then he tries to portray that a little bit in this kind of film a little bit. And it's just, I think he's underplayed in the film. He only gets a certain amount of time, but if he is making a bunch of demands and costing a lot of money, I can see why he's so short-lived in the film.
Yeah. I agree. It's a good movie. I love the artwork.
Cheers.
I love the artwork on the movie, the cover.
Now, do you think this film should be redone, or could it be redone, or how can it be redone, or who can do it?
No, not this film. It can never be redone for the PC crowd because everyone hates Nazis and don't understand history at all. You know, we're probably gonna get shit just for wearing their attire tonight. Just with the theme.
Yeah,
I don't really care.
Yeah,
you know, just because we wear this doesn't mean we're racist. We enjoy history. You know, and we just like zombies and Nazis.
Yeah. No, we're just doing this for a goof, as they call it. That's why I'm Jesus Hitler.
Jesus,
not just Hitler. So there you go.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm Adolf Christ. I'm the Second Coming and the Third Reich. There you go. So there you go. But yeah, it's a funny thing. What would you give this film overall? And as everybody watch it and as you watch it, film.
I'm gonna say a 9. Because I really feel the movie has a great, solid storyline.
Right.
The acting's pretty good in it. Very practical special effects, and the special effects used are very realistic. I mean, they don't go beyond the extreme, really, with the special effects. You know, I think it's all very practical and believable. So,
did you ever feel it was odd that they didn't mention that there was an aquarium full of live fish?
No. Yeah.
I was like, hey, someone has to be here. There's live fish here, you know?
Yeah. No one's just like, huh.
Now,
just an aquarium full.
What about Chick and his screwing everything up by being claustrophobic moment, where everything that goes from bad to worse, and then the flare gun goes off, and Beverly's in there, then Beverly ends up in the fish tank, which is actually, I mean, all the deaths look really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like the fact that when Beverly's in there, she's motionless, and there's no breathing, no bubbles, she's just there.
I love it.
Yeah. So what do you think about the end? Let's talk about the end. The end is the beginning. The beginning is the end. So tell me about the end.
I'm gonna get this off.
What kind of German Prussian dog are you? Oh, that's right. We were supposed to wear comical shades, and he was supposed to wear the shade over the eye patch.
I did.
Oh, I didn't, though.
You did.
No, because you just threw it on me. You threw it on me like a load of semen on a church whore's mouse. Whatever that means.
I don't know.
So what do you think about the end?
I love it.
Speak to me of the end.
I think... I mean, do you think it could be open for a sequel? Do you think...
Well, they're still there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think it's...
They could return.
Now, do you think later on in life we're going to discover Shockwaves too?
Yeah.
Because I remember a podcast not too long ago here, we talked about what was the movie? Night of the Creeps. And we said, no one touched it. And then we found Night of the Creeps 2.
And it was horrible.
And it was garbage. Just hot, sweaty garbage mess. Yeah. So do you think we'll ever come across a Shockwaves 2? Because, I mean, technically it's open.
It's open for interpretation.
Would you? What's your feelings on the movie? Do you think it's remake worthy, or do you think we should just let it
Well, this is what I wanted to know, because, like, if it is remake worthy, who is it worth to be made by? Because, you know, everyone's going to fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, to look at practical effects here, everyone's going to fuck it up because no one can make a good movie anymore. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine Rob Zombie touching this? Or even like Shyamalan or any other horrible actor like Tarantino? Like,
I would hijack their planes so they can never make it.
Exactly. We'll make them go to the Bermuda Triangle and never be seen of again. So that would be really interesting. Like, I don't feel that there's a director out there that could remake Shockwaves and do it correctly, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't know. I mean, there's a handful out there, but I still don't want you to touch it because it's a movie that doesn't need to be touched. The fact it doesn't have a sequel that I know of is awesome because, once again, we're not bastardizing the franchise. We're just not. I guess it's not really a franchise. It's not more than one, but it's just you're not touching the film. It's good. It's good as it is. Let it go.
As good as it is. Let it go. Let it be. Let it do. Okay. What do you think about the ending? Let's go to the real ending when she goes. Will you find out what happened to her in the hospital bed? You know what I'm talking about? Where she's writing on the paper and you realize she's just writing scribbles because she went apeshit. Yeah. Because she starts repeating herself and you're like, that's weird. And then it hones over to what she's doing and all you see is just her writing scribbles. She went absolutely bitch tits. What do you feel about that ending? Good ending?
You think? I mean, I think it's a strong ending.
I think it's good.
I like the strong endings.
I like it.
It was, I guess, different for the time. I guess, kind of. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
no, I was gonna say here's something I was gonna ask you, and here
you ask. Go ahead. You ask me, and I'll tell you my answer.
I was gonna ask you this, and now I'm gonna ask you this. So, what do you think about? I think it can be sparingly done. I think it works sometimes. It doesn't work other times. What do you think about films that give you the big ending at the beginning? I think sometimes it really gets you out of caring about the other people because you know how it ends.
I don't know. Tarantino does it a lot. I know you.
Yeah, but he's a shit fucking director there.
Yeah,
and a horrible person. And I hope you die.
Man, but like, there's a lot of stuff though he has that's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I just watched the what was it? Campaneros, and they kind of do that where they're running to the duel at the end, but it doesn't give away the plot line or realize how it happened. So that was done perfectly well. But when you know there's only one person that survived in the boat, then you know everyone's gonna die. You know what I mean? Like you already know who's.
But doesn't it pique your interest that you want to know how we got to that point?
Kinda.
But
you don't. See, the thing is, though, you don't take the time to character build properly then, because you know they're not going to be along for the world, if you know what I mean. So it takes a very strong plot and very strong characters to get you to care about the characters until they die, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. I mean, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Mm-hmm. I think there's some instances where you can pull it off.
So especially like when you really care about a character and then they sacrifice themselves for the final person, you're like, wow, that was awesome. But it does set you up for that kind of like predetermined knowledge.
Yes,
a bit. But in a good way. But it could be a good way, it could be a bad way. Our German beer drinking music has stopped.
What the? Did we get to the end of that already?
Yeah, we're 17 minutes in.
Oh my lord.
And that means it's time to go to our next film.
Oh boy.
We're gonna do the cream of the crop. The cream that doesn't stop.
This is probably the movie that I think started all the Nazi jump. I don't think there's a Nazi movie before this.
This is 1981.
Oh my God, you're right. This is a great movie.
Yeah. This is 1981.
Nazi? Or no,
Zombie Lake. Zombie Lake is fantastic. There's so many, and there's the my VHS version of it. There are so many people who hate this movie. They despise this movie.
I don't understand how. What's there to hate about the movie?
Gene Roland, this is on par with Gene Roland. Gene Roland just has a certain kind of cheap filmmaking style, much like Jess Franco. I love the fact that Roland understands you need to have sex and tits in a film. Because what Shockwave lacks in tits, this film will make up 10 times in tits. And labias. Lots of labias, lots of butts. It's a beautiful thing. Both of these films share the same problem of looking like they were filmed in the early 70s and not being filmed in the early 70s.
That's why I said, before I looked at the date, I mean, I knew it was in the 80s, but I really thought it was older than Shockwave.
No, and that's the thing is, Shockwaves looks newer because it had a bigger budget. If Zombie Lake would have had a proper budget, I think it would have been a lot better than what it is, and a lot more watchable. I like the actors in it. I know they're weird. They're French. Europeans. You know how weird they are. They like do weird stuff. Stuff like that. And I don't know. I just think they did a great job. I like the story. I really like the story. I like the father-child reuniting kind of thing. The story's great. The plot line's good. The actors are good. The film quality obviously could has a lot to be said about it. The cheapness. I mean, it was a cheap. Probably was your phone always does that little.
I know.
Your
focus.
It does really, 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 really lack in production value. Zombie Lake definitely lacks in production value quite a lot. But overall, it's a really enjoyable film to watch. Gets a little slow at times, and comical at times, too. Don't get me wrong. It's one of those kind of like, oh, it's crazy kids. Look at you. Yeah. I like, and the thing is, though, when all those, the basketball team just randomly drives up for a nice naked swim, I'm loving it. The more tits and nudity there is in films, I'm loving it. It's only because if you look at the girl's like, what, 11?
Yeah.
12, right? The little girl.
Yeah.
So that happened in 1940s.
Yeah.
The little girl's now 12. So that's going to be kind of like 1957-ish. 1950, maybe 6, 7, 8 in there. That van is clearly from the 70s. That is a 1970s model fucking caravan that they pulled up in. Little things like that, like other filmmakers probably wouldn't have overlooked. Unless you're making all the Texas Chainsaw remakes, and no one gave a fuck about that shit. They
Wow.
put all those cars were wrong. The fucking shit happened sticker, like the smiley face, that all came out after that supposed dateline, whatever. But I like in the beginning of the film, right off the bat, this girl walks up, she strips nude, she sunbathes, and you already know that you're in for a good time with this film. Then she walks up to a sign that I swear to God, I know it's hard to see, but I swear it's a fishing, someone swimming with an X on it, and it has a little arrow, and it actually has like zombies like in the lake, kind of like like a sign. And she just picks it up and throws it down and goes swimming and gets attacked by a zombie.
That's a bold move.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's the stupidity of humanity. How about like all the people that like climb over different fences at the zoos to get a picture of the jaguar, and
You gotta get close.
And then the jaguar rips its face off. So you know what? It's comical in the movie, but it's even more comical in real life because people are fucking worthless and they should be killed.
I agree. Fuck people. Fuck the human race.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Can we talk about a minute about the cooch shots inside the swimming pool?
Yes, labias, because it's a pond, not a lake. I don't know why they keep calling it a lake.
I don't know either.
They call it the death, the pond of death or the death pond, but it's or the lake, but it's obviously a pond.
Yeah.
And then they do, and the best part of the film though is they obviously do all the shooting for the pond scenes in a very nice swimming pool.
Yep.
Where you can literally see the back of the swimming pool.
Yep.
But the water is so crystal clear, you can see everything, and I mean everything. It's so glorious, and you get to see the wiggles of their butt cheeks and everything like that, and the nice little fat, and the zombies are grabbing at it, and I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, and those camera angles, they make sure they get a good
They
shot,
make
too.
sure, and that's why Gene Rollins is just amazing. He makes sure he covers every angle, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, he got in there.
He got in there
I
close.
saw her kidneys a
Yeah,
couple times.
exactly, yeah. Pretty sure a baby flopped out into the swimming pool once. Yeah, but it's a great, I don't know, it's really cool. I like, there are little holes in the plot line and stuff like that, but
those movies are like
one of my let's go back for a second and look at the father fell in love with this French girl. I'm assuming it's France where they're at.
Yeah.
And they fell in love and they have this baby. The mother died at birth, like you do, and then the father got killed because he was one of the Nazis and got chucked in the lake. The lake is cursed. And basically what happens was, you find out later in the film, is that like people have been making sacrifices to some weird spirit that lives in the lake for centuries. And that spirit, because it wasn't a sacrifice, they just dumped some bodies in, kind of reactivated the zombies as like a revenge thing. Almost like maybe like, up that road, there's old Pet Cemetery, that kind of thing. And so the father comes back and like stops the zombies from eating his kid, like reunites and like gives the kid a necklace. And it's actually really nice. I actually thought I thought it was really
It's a coming of age tale.
It is a coming of age tale, because when your dead dad comes back and gives you the "How you doing, son?" That's nice.
You should have given him the talk about the birds and the bees.
Yeah. If you have sex with women, they die, especially when you drown them in a bathtub at the same time. Those kind of things. But
Periscope's not ready for us, man.
yeah, I don't know. It's like, I'm not really big into abortions, but sometimes babies die when you rape them. But the thing about the film at the end that I find very comical, they start talking about how like the apocalypse is the only thing that can take these zombies away from us. The purification of fire through the apocalypse. And she's like, there's a thing called napalm that could burn them. He's like, you're right. Wow. Like,
napalm.
I mean, if you break that whole conversation down, it's like, I don't know how to get rid of them. Only fire can get rid of them. Well, how about we burn them? That's a good idea. Wait, you just said you know that fire is the only thing that can take care of them, but you didn't think about like lighting them on fire until some blonde bitch that is like, I'm safe, I'm good here, and then gets killed 3 seconds later says it. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, what a great idea.
Genius.
I like it. Let's get out of here. Are you crazy? Now I gotta get a shot. I'm safe. And then she's like, oh. I'm like, well, I guess you weren't as safe as you thought you were. Condoms do tear. What? Yeah, anyway.
You want to talk about the special effects in this movie?
The special effects are really shitty and they're very practical, but they're awesome.
I love when the zombies are eating people and like the green paint's coming off of their victims.
The paint is literally just
and they're just smearing like red fake blood on their.
I've literally seen better makeup on kids in Halloween school pageants in 12th grade or in like 2nd grade. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, it lends that kind of time period goodness.
It does. It's one of those it's one of those movies where people.
It gives it the surrealness.
Yeah, it does. People chipped in together to make a movie, and I don't care what. You know what? This is what I say about people who bitch about special effects. Make something better then.
Yeah.
If you think you can do better, go ahead and make a better movie.
Yeah.
Then we'll judge your shit.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you can say Periscope's not ready for us, but if the camera was on, they really wouldn't be ready for us.
No, we'd be flagged.
Yeah. At least I have a fan base on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
they kind of are already expecting
get it.
Yeah.
So
I was waiting for our picture to get flagged on Facebook for me wearing the Nazi hat.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's satire.
People can take shit too seriously.
Read a joke book, bitches. Why did the Mexican take Zantac for his panic attacks? He's funny. We go in order.
Are we go drinking in order?
We go in order.
Doesn't mean I have to have one of these.
Yeah, and they're all huge. That's very herbaceous like pot, and that's very hoppy like pot.
I need a bottle.
Here's a bottle opener for you. I just have it right here in my hand.
I want to drink some pot beer.
Pot beer is that beer.
That's what I'm saying.
It wasn't as pop forward as I remember, but it's still very herbaceous and good.
Ooh. Mm. Well, what would you rate this movie? This isn't the first time we've talked about this movie on ManiacsMeat.
Yeah, you wouldn't bloot.
I mean, we've talked about this film before in the past.
I think it's a fantastic film. I mean, I'm not going to give it a really super high score, but I just think it's a film that a lot of people should watch, especially if you're a fucking pervert. I mean, the one guy, Greg, that watches They Must Be Destroyed on Sight, like, he would appreciate all the nudity that's in this film. He's probably already watched it, but there's tons of nudity, and it kind of makes up for a lot of the other things. But this film, again, go back to you real quick. Could it be remade? Should it be remade? How could it be remade? And who could do it?
This movie, I kind of feel like has been already touched upon with Dead Snow.
Yes, but not the labias.
Yeah.
You got to put the labias. See,
you can't have them.
That much nudity is like a thing that doesn't happen anymore.
No, because there's too many people who are offended by the nudity.
Do you realize there was more nudity in this film than Serbian film?
I believe it.
You know what I mean?
Well, the Serbian film though, it's one of the
Serbian film was a joke that didn't get its own joke. It's a piece of shit.
Serbian film, it's one of those you have no right to say anything about Serbian film because you're so desensitized to everything.
No, I'm not.
You're sitting here just like Jesus Hitler.
No, I'm not.
I would have never agreed to this 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, I would have.
Yeah, I probably would.
But no, realistically though, like Serbian film, like it's one of those things that kind of plays with. It's kind of, I don't want to compare it to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's a little mind thing, where it's actually your mind puts what's together was worse than actually what's going on the screen. You know,
I think my mind could make something worse of anything that could be on the screen.
Yes. Oh, I believe that. I believe that 100%.
And how small was that doctor to screw that newborn?
That was a fuck scene, man.
I just thought it was comical because it was so stupid. There was two good parts in the film.
They never show that the whole time though. Like they never show that.
No. That's supposed to be an in-cheek joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where he turns around and the pregnant lady's laughing about it because she can't wait to see it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a tongue-in-cheek kind of a weird joke that only disturbing people will find funny, but at the same time it's funny. But it's not a good movie.
I like the score.
But I like the best part about Serbian film for me. My scene, the skull fuck was pretty funny.
I like that. Was
my favorite scene though, and this is just me. I love it when he's beating the crap out of the girl's kidneys while he's doggy style, and they give her the machete, and then he cuts her head off, and then she's like, that is a great scene. I love that scene.
He doesn't stop either.
Yeah, he doesn't stop because you never fucking stop.
He finishes.
Yeah,
he literally finishes.
He should have spun around and finished her in her trachea, as far as I'm concerned. But at the same time, you never stop ever. Never waste an erection and never trust a fart. Those are words to live by.
We're getting banned on Periscope for the first episode.
Hey,
might as well go out with the bag.
Mm-hmm. So your films on Zombie Lake as a whole?
I think Zombie Lake. Are you talking about rating?
Yeah.
I'll give Zombie Lake a 7, a solid 7. You know what? I'll go out. I like it because of nostalgic. I'll give it a 7.5.
I like it right there. I'm gonna give it an 8 because the story's good, the plot's good. Everything else could be a little bit better, but the nudity does kick up a lot.
The nudity is great, but the storyline is solid.
It is
the
solid.
plot is solid. And the acting's not even terrible.
Yeah.
It's just the special effects.
Now, if you had better scenery, a little bit more mysticism, and a little bit more budget, you could make a really nice, like, haunted bog story out of this.
This was a time frame where horror movies were the mecca, and what they wanted to do is pump out, and they spent more money on the cover art than actually on the film because they wanted to sell it.
Yeah.
And if they couldn't get sales, they wanted to get rental sales.
Yeah.
And that's where their market was.
Yeah, if Zombie Lake had money and backers.
I never saw this movie. I literally bought this off the internet, and this cover art sold it for me.
Right.
I mean, look at how awesome that is. Like who wouldn't want that? You know, and you watch it, you go, this movie is terribly good.
Terribly good.
I love it.
Terribly good. That's a good point. That's a good way to say that. Terribly good.
And that's what this podcast is all about, is terribly good films that people just don't know about.
Do you have trivia about both of these films?
I have trivia about Shockwave a little bit. I know the master copy is missing. It is MIA, and when Blue Underground went to these people to put on DVD, they said, we do not have the master copy. It's MIA somewhere in the world. But they found the director who had a good copy on VHS,
right,
and they used that as the master copy.
Okay.
And then they redid their digital effects things with it, you know, which I think is awesome because, I mean, if you watch the DVD, it's pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
You know, there's not any skipping or anything for being based off of VHS. You took a VHS tape and converted it to the DVD with light editing, what you could do, you know?
Right.
I thought was awesome. Yeah, so somewhere out there, someone has a copy of Shockwave, the master copy, sitting in someone's attic, dissolving away, probably, you know,
right,
in a tin somewhere.
Well, maybe they just took it on a boat and sank it.
Possibility.
Poetic justice.
You know.
Yeah.
So there is no master copy of this movie anywhere in the world. I do not really have anything about Zombie Lake, but I do know if you reference some of our older episodes on YouTube, you will definitely know.
Our first episode.
I think it was our first episode we talked about Zombie Lake.
Indeed.
So
long time coming.
Yeah, I don't really have anything about it.
And we did both of these films on They Must Be Destroyed Inside a Movie podcast. So check it out.
Give them a look-see.
Lookity-dookie.
Where are we coming in at? 32 minutes.
32 minutes. It's time for us to end. This has been Paul, Adolf Christ,
and Josh, General Gerbils.
General Gerbils del Totenhosen. Is there a gerbil in your pants? No, I'm just happy to see you. How you doing? Is it hot in here? Turn off the gas. Oh, that's crazy. I'm just going to crawl in the oven and I'll say goodbye. This has been Paul.
And Josh.
From Maniacs Meat Podcast, episode 21, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I lost count.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hit the button.
Ooh-wee.